Absolutely. I guess Kelsey can help us. That'd be great.
Hi, Kelsey. Have you seen
Josh.
Yes.
Hi, Chris Hanna from GameSpot. I wanted to make sure I met you.
Yes, absolutely. Awesome.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Welcome back to Disney's Hollywood Studios. We are fortunately inside where it's air conditioned. But this morning, many of you like me may have found something a little bit new and different on your iPhone or Android device, and it probably looks a lot like that. It is the new Play Disney Parks app. I was getting them all confused. The Play Disney Parks app, which is adding a whole new level of enjoyment and entertainment. More importantly, interactivity to your Walt Disney World and Disneyland experience. I'm joined this morning by Scott and Josh from. I told you I was going to forget.
Disney Parks and Resorts Digital.
And I'm from Walt Disney Imagineering. Hi, Lou. Good to see you again.
I know we were just saying God, you guys are so tall. We go back a long time.
We've been talking at a lot of D23 expos.
Right?
That's right.
I completely forgot about Destino and all the other
Lincoln,
things.
and yeah, it's good to see you again.
It's great to see you too. And again, a lot of us had sort of pre-ordered
That's right.
the app. We had heard a little bit about it, and I will tell you, as a nerd gamer, I've been waiting for something that sort of adds a whole other layer to our experience in the park. So, guys, why don't you just tell us a little bit about what the Play Disney Parks app is all about?
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, we're really excited to continue to push the boundaries on creativity, innovation, technology, and ultimately storytelling through the Play Disney Parks app. What we're really allowing our guests to do is interact with the parks, both Walt Disney World here in Florida and Disneyland Resort in California, in an all-new way. We're bringing to life many of the attractions that our guests love. Ultimately, we're really excited to turn wait time into playtime and allowing our guests to interact with each other, their friends and family, as they're waiting to board their favorite attractions through some really amazing new games that are amazing experiences on their phone, as well as providing them with the capability to interact with their environment around them.
Yeah, I mean, I think, especially on the Imagineering side, we want to make sure that guests aren't just looking in their device, right? We want our guests to be up and exploring and interacting with the world and the stories, and also interacting, most importantly, with each other. And so we really have 5 core features that we're launching with today. The first is, as Scott mentioned, the in-queue and wait time games that turn wait time into playtime. The ability to interact and trigger special effects in the land, real physical things in the queues, as well as these custom curated music playlists integrated with Apple Music, achievements that you earn not just in the app, but just by exploring the parks, and lastly, these trivia packs that are themed to different lands. So we think there's a lot of fun to be had at home as you're getting ready to come to the parks, but once you get here, it unlocks a whole bunch of new experiences that really are about that new layer of storytelling and interactivity.
Well, you had me at trivia because, I don't know if you know my story, I began by writing a trivia book about Walt Disney World back in 2004, and that was always my intent, was when people are online, either by themselves or with their family, I wanted them to be able to do something together, add another layer to their experience. I was already playing with the trivia this morning, so you hit me right in all the feels.
So where did it land on the easy to hard scale? I'm dying to know where you thought.
So I like the fact that it wasn't just about parks only. There was a wide variety.
Okay, good.
I may or may not have not scored a perfect score, but I was just testing the ability.
Of course, yeah, you were just.
I wanted to see what getting a wrong answer looked like. That's all. But I love that, and I loved how, when I clicked on the music icon, that all of a sudden there was this playlist that I was able to play not when I was in the parks, but right at home as well.
Yeah, the Apple Music integration is really exciting, and that's something where the Disney Music Group and the Imagineering Music Department worked really closely together to come up with these custom playlists that were not just direct tracks from the attractions or from the lands, but also covers and music inspired by them or inspired by the time period that they were meant to evoke. And we have a lot of plans for the music integration moving forward, too. This is just the beginning.
And that was a lot of fun, again, because what do we all want? When we can't get here as often as we would like, we want to be connected to the experience. than hearing the music from your favorite attraction.
Oh, yeah.
Right in the app
And
itself.
all of these experiences come together to really help you discover the parks in all new ways. They come to life on those colorful game boards that I think you've already experienced, right? And they're animated, they're bright, they're engaging, they're reflective of many of the artists that we have within our own heritage at Disney, like Mary Blair and Ivan Hall. They're reflective of those early parks maps from Disneyland in 1955. But we brought them to life and made them feel very contemporary, and we know that our guests are going to love to explore the parks using these new game boards that we're developing as well.
And I think what's exciting too is now that we have this capability, we can start to design with it in mind. So I can tell you that we're already working closely with the Star Wars Galaxy Edge team to bring this layer of interactivity into that. So we're really excited. The app's just going to continue to grow with new kinds of content and more content. And I do think that when guests ultimately do make it to Black Spire Outpost, Play Disney Parks will be a very important part of their journey.
Well, I love the fact that you said sort of the gamification of your experience in the queue, which for a lot of guests, you see that wait time and it's that, oy. But knowing that when you get in, and it started really, I guess, in places like Soarin' and Space Mountain,
That's right.
where we were sort of testing the waters of the guest response to it. Now you no longer have to build a physical game platform there. You're able to build it into the app and update it as often as you like, too.
Yeah, and I think part of it is we're still building physical things, right? When we added a bunch of props and effects to our attractions as well. But I think the device, that thing you're holding, is super powerful. It's got sensors, it's got cameras, it's got buttons, it's got a great screen. So we can almost use the guest device as a remote control to the park. So they work really well together and do something unique that you can't do anywhere else. You can't do in any other mobile game. You can only do when the park environment and the stories are integrated with that device in your pocket. And the goal is to turn that from something that could potentially be a distraction or something that keeps your family from talking to something that becomes part of the attraction and gets your whole family up and working
And that's
together.
exactly what I imagined this morning, is playing trivia together, listening to the music together. Can you take us through a little bit of the app for those
Absolutely, I'd be happy to.
So what's the thing with the like Map Academy sort of deal?
So this is what guests will see when
So
they first load
here
it
we
up.
are. That's right. We're here at Hollywood Studios, and we're experiencing the park through this really amazing dynamic game board. You can see there are some elements that already are coming to life on this game board. And as you continue throughout your day, more and more things will start to activate and come to life as you earn things like achievements, which are indicated with little markers that are stars, and you can earn an achievement for writing Star Tours The Adventure Continues, for example. Here's an example of the Apple Music integration with the Muppets Music curated playlist.
Now, the music that shows up here, is it music that you have to own already?
No, every guest can experience a 30-second clip.
Okay.
We're also offering integration into Apple Music, so if you're an Apple Music subscriber, you'll be able to download the entire playlist for you to enjoy wherever you like, at home, in the parks, on your way in, your road trip in. This is a great way to get ready for your visit.
Is there a way to purchase music via the app, where you have to go back to Apple Music and purchase it?
We're offering a 3-month trial with Apple, so you'll be able to experience the full-length songs. Here's an example of trivia that you've already experienced, right?
I have.
And also note someone has earned an achievement already for their trivia. And then if we're over here, Toy Story Land, you see an example of some of the game cards for Playset Party, which is for Toy Story Mania. And here's some achievements as well that somebody has earned. And for Slinky Dog Dash, we've got Andy's Board Game Blast. So you can see as you navigate your way around, you're really seeing the parks in an entirely new light.
Right.
This is a companion to our apps that our guests use to help them navigate throughout their day in the parks and facilitate things like mobile order and things like that through My Disney Experience.
So as you go through the parks, does it use any type of geolocation to activate anything and sort of push notify you there's a game available?
You can enjoy the game as it is, as a guest, you can opt to enable Bluetooth technology as well as location services, so that you do get exactly those features that you described.
But some things are only available to play when you're in the parks, and
That's
other
correct.
things. Okay.
Those wait time games, for example, they rely on the connection between your device and the real-world effects that have been installed and designed for this experience. So, of course, you've got to be here to experience those things. But things like trivia and the Apple Music integration, you can enjoy anywhere.
That's right.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to, like you said, you can take the device to the attraction itself and activate things in the queue.
Yes.
Is it is it almost a game to try and figure out what those are, or are there markers that say, open up the app here and do X?
We make it pretty clear what you need to do. So, for example, with Peter Pan's Flight, that particular game is all about creating happy thoughts, because that's what you need to ride over Neverland in London. And so in that game, the first half is you and your family just telling happy memories, working together to do fun activities, drawing, taking family polls. And then in the second half of the queue, it's a scavenger hunt, where you're actually looking for props hidden in the queue. And we're using some of the props from the Walt Disney World queue. We've added new things to the Disneyland queue. And then at Disneyland, for example, there's this beautiful lantern, and when you've collected enough pixie dust, you get the prompt to actually click the button. There's an effect, and maybe, just maybe, you get a glimpse of a very special fairy from the Peter Pan world. So we try to make it clear. Sometimes you are looking for things. Also, the Space Mountain queue game, for example, that's all about speed and teamwork and communication. It's testing whether your space crew has what it takes, the communication skills to get into outer space. And we have codes hidden throughout the queue, and the more you find and enter, the more power-ups you unlock. And here at the Magic Kingdom, you actually get to then race your rocket against other teams' rockets, and that's projected above you on the ceiling, on the Starscape, right there in the queue. So again, we make it very clear when you need to look somewhere, and when we've hidden things, that'll be for our guests to discover. And especially, for your audience who knows the parks well, we hope that the more you come, the more you'll discover, and the more opportunities there'll be to play.
I love every part of this because, again, for a lot of times, you see a wait time, you see a long queue, you start to dread it. It's going to be something now you're going to get excited to do because you know that there's something to do while you're waiting in line. And I used to dread walking into a queue and seeing families looking down at their phones, not talking to each other. I'm like, put the phones away. Now what you're doing is you're making that element be something that they can do together.
That's exactly right.
That was absolutely the goal. That was, from day number one, that was our goal, was to not get guests just staring into their phones, but to get them interacting with the world around them and with each other. Because ultimately, that's what coming to a Disney park is all about.
And I have a feeling this is just probably the very first step on a much longer, exciting path. So the Play Disney Parks app is free on iOS and Android
Today.
today.
So go get it today.
Go right now. Go get it because you can play at home and you have even a better time when you come to the parks. I'm super excited to go back into Toy Story Land and see what I can discover. So, Scott,
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Great seeing you again. Until next time.
Play Disney Parks.